Good evening. You're watching the news on Croatian television. 3 newly confirmed Constitutional Court judges took their oath before President Kolinda Grabar-Kitarović today. Justices Miroslav Šeparović and Mato Arlović were re-elected to another term, while Goran Selanac is stepping onto the bench for the first time. Šeparović was also reappointed the court's president. President Grabar-Kitarović made it clear that she wants the court to be more efficient.
The Constitutional Court is burdened by numerous cases. All of them require your expertise and promptness. I am pleased to say that recently the Constitutional Court has adopted decisions in certain cases that were not deliberated for more than 20 years.
I vow that in our work we will promote the core values of our Constitution, especially in terms of the rule of law, and that we will protect human rights and the basic freedoms of all of our citizens without discrimination in any way.
Parliament's Domestic Policy and National Security Committee has given a green light to the final proposal for the law on Homeland Security. The bill is expected to come before lawmakers next week.
The security system we are currently developing must guarantee our citizens that the Republic of Croatia is ready to respond decisively, effectively, and with force to any threat, challenge, or danger to national security. One of the more important things when talking about human rights is that they are not envisaged in this situation. And I think that this is yet another indicator that we are moving too much in the direction of militarization instead of unity.
Also in Parliament today, Ivan Lovrinović of the Change Croatia party criticized an initiative to fast-track Croatia's adoption of the euro as its currency. Media have reported that government and the National Bank plan to unveil a strategy to prepare Croatia for joining the eurozone by 2022.
Why is this initiative for adopting the euro coming now from the Croatian National Bank? This comes from their desire to divert attention from the mistakes they have made, such as the Swiss franc and Austrian credit union cases. Why does the government want the speedy adoption of the euro? Because it is beholden to Brussels, and national interests are not its primary goal. In that context, I can say that this move to adopt the euro means jumping on a fast train to Greece.
Economy Minister Martina Dalić presented the Everything in One Place project for consumers and entrepreneurs in Rijeka today. The aim is to raise awareness about the opportunities the ministry is offering in terms of their rights on the European common market.
27,000 questions regarding consumer protection have been received via telephone, our webpage, and our Don't Call registry. For the time being, entrepreneurs are using the service to a lesser degree.
The Živi Zid activist party put into parliamentary procedure today proposed amendments on the law on illicit drugs. They feel that medical cannabis has massive economic potential. They are proposing that Croatia stop importing medical marijuana and enable the registering of domestic companies to produce the crop.
I expect the support of the entire opposition, but from some in the majority as well, perhaps even from the largest parties in parliament, because this is not some ultra-liberal law. This is a huge step that should have been made long ago.
EU interior ministers, including Croatia's Davor Božinović, met in Luxembourg today to discuss the Schengen border regime. France and Germany lead a group of member states calling for a revision of Schengen. The EU's Home Affairs Commissioner, Dimitris Avramopoulos, opposes the idea, saying that without Schengen, the EU would crumble.
Everyone agrees that Schengen is one of the biggest achievements of European integration and that it needs to be preserved. Even those who are opposing certain limitations agree with this, and they are proposing limitations because they want to preserve Schengen, which has allowed for the freedom of movement, something that makes the EU recognizable.
Meanwhile, the European Commission President JeanClaude Juncker said today that he is opposed to Catalan independence. Juncker added that he does not feel that the EU can assume the role of mediator in the dispute, as this would require the approval of both sides. He concluded that EU is confident that Spanish Prime Minister Mariano Rajoy will resolve this internal issue.
If we allow Catalan independence, others could follow their example. I am not happy with that scenario. I would not like to see the European Union comprised of 90 countries in 15 years' time.
The court of Bosnia and Herzegovina has sentenced 3 former members of the Army of Bosnia and Herzegovina, Enes Čurić, Ibrahim Demirović, and Habib Čopelj, to a total of 17 years in prison for war crimes committed against Croats in Mostar in 1993. They were found guilty of the forced abduction and inhumane imprisonment of 107 Croatian civilians, mostly women, children, and the elderly. 3 of the victims were killed during their detention. Representatives of 2 pro-life groups submitted some 170,000 signatures to Parliament today, which they collected as part of their I Have a Right to Life campaign. They were received by HDZ MP Davor Ivo Stier.
This is a democratic initiative. I would even call it a festival of democracy, in which our fellow citizens gave us their signatures, and we are now putting those signatures into democratic procedure. I think we need to protect life beginning at conception. Of course, we already have the decision of the Constitutional Court, and within that framework, we need to do the utmost to ensure that we have a legal framework that will be for life.
Taking a quick look at sports, Marin Cilic is through to the semifinals of the Masters in Shanghai after beating Spaniard Alberto Ramos Viñolas 6-3, 6-4 today. He will play Rafael Nadal tomorrow for a place in the final. Regardless of the outcome, Cilic will assume a career-high 4th place on next week's ATP rankings. And now the forecast for tomorrow. Predominantly sunny throughout the country, however, inland regions and the western coast of the Istrian Peninsula will see some morning fog. There will be a mild to moderate northwesterly on the Adriatic. Morning lows of 5 to 9 degrees Celsius in the interior, 12 to 17 on the coast, will give way to highs of 19 to 24 degrees, up to 26 in Dalmatia. The 3-day forecast for the interior calls for morning fog followed by partly to predominantly sunny skies and mild winds. The coast will see sunny skies and unseasonably warm temperatures of around 25 degrees. And that wraps up the news. Be sure to join us again tomorrow night.